Thank you.
Recording in progress.
I'd like to play an excerpt of Thay's teaching on the silence of life. This is a talk that he gave in the year 2020, and this is coming at the end of the talk. It's very interesting because much of the material in this talk is the very thing that we're studying as we're reading Silence, the book that he has offered us. But this is a beautiful section, I think, where many of his thoughts come together. So I'm going to share my screen with success is my intention. If you all can see that screen, that would be good to give me a thumbs up if it's coming across. Okay. Please enjoy.
When we have been able to still all the noises inside of you, when you have been able to establish silence, the thundering silence in you, you begin to hear the deepest kind of calling from within yourself. Your heart is calling you. Your heart is telling you something. It's trying to tell you something, but you have not been able to hear what your heart is trying to tell you, because your mind is full of noises. You are pulled away always, day and night. You are full of thoughts, and especially negative thoughts. In our daily life, we spend most of the time looking for comforts, material comforts, and affective comforts in order to merely survive. And that takes all our time. And these belong to what we call the daily concern. Daily concerns. We are preoccupied with our daily concerns. How to have enough money, how to have enough food, shelter, salary, material comforts. That is our daily concern. And beside our concerns for material comfort, we also need affective concerns. Whether he loves you or she wants to still supporting you, and you worry all day because of that kind of question. So looking for someone to rely on, you depend on him, on her, and you are trying to have a kind of relation that is good enough to survive, not too difficult, not too difficult a relationship, and you spend 99.9% of your time worrying about these things called daily concerns about material comforts and affective concerns. But the deepest concern in you, you have not seen it, you have not heard it, and that is the ultimate concern. And every one of us has an ultimate concern that has nothing to do with material concern. and affective concerns. What do we want to do with our life? And that is the question. You are there, but why you are there? Who are you? What do you want to do with your life? So all these questions, you don't have the time to answer. Who are you? Have you had the time to answer that question? That is a very big question. Where do you come from? Why are you there? What do you want to do with your life? These are not just philosophical questions, because if we are not able to answer them, and then we do not have peace, and we do not have joy and happiness. Because no joy, no happiness is possible without some peace. And many of us are ignorant about these kind of things. And yet we say that we can never answer these questions. But with meditation, with mindfulness and concentration, you can see. You can see with your own eyes. You can hear with your own ears. Provided that you have some silence within. Provided that you have enough room, and then you can find out the truth about these questions. And hear the deepest call of your heart. What do you really want? Not a comfortable life, material life. Not to have a not too difficult relationship. That's not enough. You want something else, deeper. You have a deepest desire, but you do not know what the desire is. Your deepest desire is not to have a lot of money, no. Not to have fame, big fame, or power, or sex. These are not your biggest desire. And your heart will tell you what is your deepest and biggest desire, your ultimate concern, not your daily concern. So when you ask the question, who are you? If you have enough time and concentration, and then you can see that you are a continuation of your ancestors. Just by simple observation, you might obtain the answers. It's easy to see that you are a continuation of your parents. Your parents and your ancestors are fully present in every cell of your body. You are their continuation. You do not have a separate self. If you remove your ancestors and your parents outside, out of you. There's no you left. And you see that you are made of elements like water. You are made of water. If you remove water from you, there is no you left. You are made of earth. If you remove the element of earth out of you, there is no you left. You are made of air. And you need airship desperately. Without air, you cannot survive. So the element of air in you, if you remove it, there's no you left. And the element of heat, the element of light, in you. You know that you are made of light. You are made of light. Without light, without the sunshine, nothing can grow on earth. And you have nothing to eat. And you see that Father Sun. Is a source. Of life. Father Sun is a source of. And you consume. Father Sun every moment. Without Father Sun, Mother Earth cannot be beautiful as she is. And you are a son of the sun. You are a daughter of the sun. And you find out who you are. You know that you are a continuation of your ancestors. You are a son. You are a child of the earth. You are a child of the sun. And in you, Mother Earth, Father Sun can be found in you. You are Father Sun. You are Mother Earth. And these things are not speculation. You can touch the truth by yourself. You are made of elements. Like air, water, earth, and light. And consciousness manifests itself as the cosmos. And if you continue to look, you see that you are made of the sun. The sun is one of the biggest stars in the galaxy. And you know that the earth, as well as yourself, is made of the stars. So you are the star. On a clear night, you look up. And you can see that you are the stars. You are not just this tiny, little physical body. So meditation is to have the time to still yourself, to establish silence in order for you to look deeply, in order to find out, who you are, and what do you want to do with your life. In the teaching of the Buddha, we speak about four kinds of nutrients, four kinds of food. First of all, edible food that you eat every day. And then sense impressions. And you consume with your eyes, ear, nose, tongue, body, and mind. You consume all the things. Internet is one of the things you consume. Newspapers, movies, conversations, All these are not edible food, but you consume every day. You consume and then the second source of nutriment is sense impression. The third source of nutriment is volition. Volition is your desire, your concern. And you know that beside the daily concern, you have an ultimate concern. You have a deep desire. You want to realize something with your life. You don't just try to survive. You want to realize something. That is the third source of nutriment. Maybe your desire is to help people to suffer less. Your desire to help Mother Earth to be preserved. Your desire is to help people to suffer less. And many of us have that kind of desire in us, spending our time of life in order to help people suffer less. And when people suffer less, we suffer less. When people know how to experience joy and peace and happiness, you experience joy, peace and happiness. So if we have the time, you sit down and look and recognize the deepest core of your heart. Your heart is telling you what to do with your life, so that your life has a meaning, so that true happiness and joy be possible, and not just trying to survive materially and affectively. So the silence within, the silence of noises within, is the precondition for you to recognize your deepest desire, deepest volition. Because the third source of nutriment is volition, your deepest desire, your ultimate concern. And the fifth desire is consciousness. Because if you have consumed a lot of negative elements, and then you will produce negative elements for yourself. And you are eating your own consciousness. Suppose you are producing ideas, thoughts that are negative. Negative thinking. Because you have consumed so much of these things as consciousness. When you are surrounded with people who have a lot of sadness, fear, anger, anxiety, pessimism, you consume. And your consciousness is full of these negative things. And when you produce thoughts and ideas that are negative, you are consuming your own consciousness. And you are consuming the collective consciousness of a group of people. If you happen to live with a group of people who are full of anger and fear and pessimism and despair, that collective energy is not very healthy, you have consumed. That is why now your thinking is full of negativity. And that is because of the fourth kind of nutriment. But when you hear the voice of the Buddha, the voice of Bodhisattvas, full of compassion, full of understanding and love, when you hear the voice, the calling of Mother Earth, full of patience, full of love, and then you consume. You consume wholesome elements of life. You consume the wonders of life. You consume the sound of the rising tide. You consume the sound of the ultimate. And then one day you begin to offer positive thinking, positive talking that will help heal you and heal the world. When you produce a thought full of pessimism, a thought full of anger and fear and hate, that thought produced by yourself will harm you, destroy your health, and will help destroy the health of the world. That is called wrong thinking. But in the teaching of Buddha, you practice right thinking, producing only thoughts that can heal you and heal the world. The thoughts that have the element of understanding and compassion. So you have to learn how to nourish yourself with compassion and understanding so that you can produce thoughts of understanding and compassion. When you hear Dharma talk by the Buddha, you consume understanding, you consume compassion. And if you consume every day these healthy food, then one day you will stop producing negative thoughts. You produce thoughts in the line of understanding and compassion called right thinking. And together with right thinking, there is right speech and right action. And these kind of things have the power to heal you and heal the world. And that is why if it happens that you are always pessimistic, if you always think and speak in terms of anger or hate or despair, because you have consumed too much of these things. So the fifth mindfulness training is about mindful consumption. You don't hear, you don't look. You do not consume the things that are toxic, full of fear, anger, hate. When you go to the internet, you know that there are plenty of good things on it, and there are a lot of toxic things in it. So the internet is a source of nutriment, a source of consumption. When you read magazines, novels, watch televisions, you consume. And you know that practicing the fifth mindfulness training, you will not consume the things that have toxins and poisons. So you know that if you have the tendency and habit of thinking negatively because you have consumed in such a way that have empoisoned your consciousness. And that is why practicing the fifth mindfulness training, you begin to refrain from consuming the wrong thing. You begin to consume only the right things that nourish the element of understanding and compassion in you, and you get the healing that you need, and you are in a position to heal yourself and help heal the world. And suddenly you see that your life has a meaning that is about volition. If you can hear the voice of Mother Earth calling you, and then you don't want to run anymore. You have been running and looking for something, because you think that that something you are looking for is very crucial for your peace and your happiness. You demand to have that condition and that condition in order for you to be happy. And you believe that you do not have enough conditions to be happy right now. And that is the habit or energy of running that many people have. I cannot be peaceful now. I cannot be joyful now. I cannot enjoy it now because I need more conditions. So you are demanding. But Mother Earth shows you that in the present moment they are full of wonders, the sound of wonders. And if you can be there and free, you can be happy right here and right now. You don't have to run anymore. But you are not capable of listening to the call of Mother Earth, to the call of your heart, because you are full of noises. And you are carried away by that kind of noises in you. That is why you cannot hear yourself. You cannot hear the voice of Mother Earth calling you. And that is why the practice of plum village can be described as very simple. The practice of mindful breathing, the practice of mindful walking help you to enjoy the here and the now in every moment. All the wonders of life are already there, they are calling you. And if you hear them, you can stop running and you begin to enjoy the wonders of life. Diệu âm, the sound of wonders. Your body is a wonder. The tree standing outside is a wonder. The sunshine is a wonder. Springtime is a wonder. And yet you cannot get in touch. There is a Vietnamese poet who says, spring has come. All the flowers are trying to open. How about your heart? Why don't you let your heart to open like other flowers and be happy right here and right now? And what we did is silence. Stop the noise in your heart in order for the wondrous sounds of life to be heard, and we begin to live our life properly and deeply.
Thank you, Thay. Thank you, friends, for your attention. And I'd like to invite Lou to respond. She had an opportunity to watch this video prior to this evening, and I asked if she might just offer some thoughts, some reactions to how the teaching landed in her heart. So, Lou, thank you.
Hi, this is Lou, bowing in from John's Island with my husband, Hal. Thank you for that, Heather. Hal and I come out of an insight tradition of Buddhism, and we're relatively new to Thay, and there's just so much in that, so much to unpack and think about. But for me, a couple things came up. I spent the past 2 years really working through some old trauma and dealing with some grief and loss. And it was really hard and really beautiful. And at some point, though, and this is not to minimize anyone else's trauma, but I realized that my trauma at some point was what he says, at some level, an effective concern. And that was quite a revelation to me, because what I realized that, much in the way that yoga prepares the body for sitting, that me dealing with my trauma and loss and grief was allowing me to clear out some of the noise and make room for silence. And that silence was leading me to the ultimate concerns, the bigger concerns. And for me, that could only come through silence. It could come through me being in nature, which I find wondrous and profound, but also the silence. And my meditation practice was absolutely life-saving. And the whole concept of silence is so important to me now. And that's where that landed. So I really thank you for giving us this last couple of weeks of contemplating quiet and silence. And I have a gratitude practice. And my gratitude journal always asks me the prompt, well, what would make today great? And one of the things that I find myself writing in it again and again is more quiet, be more quiet, and make sure I meditate. So thank you. Lou, bowing out.
Thank you so much, Lou. And I also invited David. David, if you would like to unmute and share a few words about how this teaching landed with you.
Sure. First, I'd like to introduce my very best friend, Dennis. He and his wife are visiting from my old hometown of Buffalo, New York. And Dennis and I used to run a meditation group in Buffalo, and it's still going. It's dwindling in numbers, but somehow manages to keep going. I took a little different approach. There's another hour's worth of this YouTube video before what we saw this evening. And I watched it twice, actually. And to summarize it, it seems like there's sort of a timeline here where we meditate, we attain silence of the mind. That enables us to hear the call, listen to the heart, hear the voice of Mother Earth. And then we can address the ultimate concerns, those questions he had. Who are you? Where do you come from? Why are you there? What do you want to do with your life? And then for the part of the video that you missed, I'll just give you a few quotes from Thay. Mother Earth is calling you. I'm here, Mother Earth. Need silence to hear the call. Life is full of wonders. The emptiness of sound. With noble silence, we are free. Thundering silence is powerful. And he talked about meditation groups that formed in concentric circles. And there was always some noise with people serving lunch and things like that. But when it came down to the bell, there was this thundering silence, he called it, very powerful. Silence sets you free to enjoy life. He talked about the silence of Niagara Falls. We used to live in Buffalo, Niagara, and in the wintertime, the mist freezes and forms a cap over the flowing river. So it becomes quite quiet, actually, even though the river is still flowing under all the ice. He said, silence is a kind of sound. There's the bodhisattva of deep listening, Avalokiteshvara. You might want to check out your book at page 10 for the five kinds of sounds: sounds of wonder, sounds of the one who observes the word, Dharma sound, etc. Said sound is impermanence. Its nature is to be created, to be made. Therefore, it's impermanent. The sound of the Buddha is easy to understand, not complicated, not too loud or noisy. I think what, to get personal about it, and I'll be short because I don't want to take up all your time, but I'm still trying to figure out what I want to do when I grow up, you know? I'm only 70 years old. I mean, you think I'd know by now, but no, I aspire to be a bodhisattva. You know, I aspire to bring joy and to relieve suffering, but how that becomes concrete is sort of a struggle for me right now. I retired a couple of years ago. Prior to that, I had stressful jobs, basically saving taxes and money for rich people as a lawyer and CPA. So I have a lot of makeup work to do, and I'm just trying to figure out what it is to do. I've got a sick wife, and that isn't, you know, that's a priority. But whatever else there is, I don't know. Thank you.
Thank you, David. Why don't we go ahead and turn off our